It's time to park the excuse caboose.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Hello, welcome to the Hopefulist. I hope you are ready for your daily dose of inspiration and positivity. The quote of the day today: stop doubting your greatness. That's simple, from the great Jen Sincero. She also contributed to a lot of the writing in today's blog post. A lot of the ideas and helpful tips that I got are from her book, Badass Habits. So if you haven't grabbed you a copy of that yet, you may do so soon, or follow me to hear all about it, because you know you will. I had an extraordinary display of kindness toward me yesterday, and it was just so nice. A couple of the girls were getting together in the morning to play pickleball, and I decided that a nap was just more important at that time. In actuality, what had happened was the day before, I went later in the day, and by the time I got home and got my nap in, by the time I woke up, my intermittent fasting time period had expired. Therefore, I couldn't eat. I was hungry. I didn't want to do that again. So, I wanted to get a nap in before I went to play pickleball. So I asked if anybody would be available around 1:30. One woman said that she would be available, and then another one said that she would stay until I got there. They were starting at 11. When I pulled up to the pickleball area around 20 after 1, there were 4 men playing. Excuse me. And at first I was like, what am I going to do? I guess I'll just go home. And then I'm like, no, don't go home. That's silly. There are tennis courts that they have taped off to mimic a pickleball court. So you can play on the tennis courts now. Now, the difference between the pickleball court and the tennis court is the tennis court is extremely, extremely large. It's a big area because they have, 1, a much bigger court than pickleball, and 2, they have a much bigger back area than pickleball. So there's just a lot of running around trying to grab balls when you are playing in the tennis area. So my friend hadn't shown up. I just went to the tennis courts and I was practicing my new drop serve. Gotta tell you, I'm loving the drop serve. So I was playing there for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Just, I took out about 3 balls and was smacking them with my serve. And then I would go to the other side and hit them back and, just going back and forth like that. And about 15, 20 minutes in, I hear, "Miss, oh, miss." And I'm like, yeah. And one of the gentlemen from the pickleball court had said, "Would you like to come over and play with us?" And I said, "Well, there's 4 of you." And he said, "Well, we'll gladly have somebody sit out so that you can join us. Well, if you're not that good." It was so nice, and it gave me an opportunity to actually get some game time in. Now, my friend did show up about 10 minutes after that, and then they all allowed us to kind of mix in, and we all played together. It was just the nicest thing. They didn't have to do that by any means, and they were just the sweetest gentlemen. As my friend Lori pulled up, I said, "These distinguished gentlemen have allowed me to play with them." And one of them said, "Well, we're all distinguished except for Tony over there. He's not very distinguished." They were a lot of fun. Older gentlemen, and I really appreciated their kind gesture. So I did get a little bit of pickleballing yesterday. Hopefully going to play again this morning. The weather here has been, I won't say warm, but not extremely cold. We've been in the 40s all week, which with the sun out and not a lot of wind is okay to play pickleball. Now I go in my hat and I have gloves that I wear. You know, I'm a little bundled up, but still enough that we can get some playtime in. Yesterday was perfect. There was no wind. Today I'm hearing 10-mile-per-hour winds with gusts up to about 17, which can really affect the game. But we'll see. We'll see. One of these days you guys are going to check out pickleball. I know you're sick of hearing it. I apologize. I'm sorry. I just love it. It's so much fun. If you give it a go, let me know, because then I know that I will have turned on more people to the great game of pickleball. So what is something you own a ridiculous amount of? I'm definitely going to have to go with pens and journals. I have so many pens. I mean, I will never use the amount of pens that I have. People buy me pens. I buy me pens. I have pens everywhere. I have fabulous pens. I have cute and quirky pens. I have sophisticated pens. If I don't say so myself, my own personal Hopefulist pen, very sophisticated in the nice rose gold color with the Hopefulist logo on it. And it's a stylus too. I used to have a ton of books, but I read on my Kindle now, so that is no longer a problem like it used to be. When asking you what you have a ridiculous amount of, I heard, and this I really love. Kimberly says, ideas written on paper. I have them in file, accordion holder things. So many darn pieces of paper of notes, ideas that I'll probably never look at again. That's great that you write that down, though. I actually think that's awesome. Larissa says, books, but I'm proud of that, as you should be. Kevin says, I still have all my Hot Wheels that I collected when I was a kid. Cheryl says, pillows. I don't know if she means bed pillows or like on the couch type pillows. Probably both, right? Kate says, Mickey Mouse. I said, okay, do you mean figurine? She said, nope, I mean everything. My chandelier is Mickey. Yeah, subtle, she said. Silverware, plates, house decor. My entire house is Mickey, but most people don't realize it right away. Okay. She's not the only one that said that, by the way. Deborah says skincare, but I still want more. Yeah, I'm catching up to her on that. Meg also books. Marcy says I have a fairly large teapot collection. That's very cool. Morgan says dog hair. Having 3 huskies is a chore. I can only imagine. Kate says multi-purpose cleaner and Minnie Mouse ears. I said, that's quite a contrast there, Kate. She said, that's how I roll. Okay. Kimberly says snacks. Michelle says shoes. Jim says, I have to admit I was hoarding during the toilet paper shortage, but I did share some with friends and family, but I still have a lot left. Joe says music files. Andrew says CDs, socks, and rum. Mary says vintage fiesta wear. Denise says yarn. Libby says shoes. And Connie says seashells, crafts, glassware, picture frames, and memorabilia. Nice stuff, guys. Nice collections you got going there. Yeah. I used to have a ton of shoes. I actually don't think that I'm that bad anymore. But it could always get out of control again. We'll see how it goes. On to the topic for today. We're talking about excuse cabooses and how you need to park that, buddy. Park them. That's right. One of the biggest obstacles when trying to achieve our goals or form new habits is ourselves. We come up with all types of excuses to go off course and let ourselves off the hook. This time will be different, though. Know why? Because we are going to anticipate our excuses and prepare for them. I think we've all been there when trying to lose weight. We start out all gung-ho in a couple of weeks or days, and then we're hungry. We miss our favorite foods. We start coming up with excuses as to why this won't work. We tell ourselves that we've tried to lose weight so many times. What makes us think that we will do it this time? Then we use that as an excuse to step away from our healthy eating. Or we see a brownie at work and tell ourselves that we deserve it. And it may not be so bad if we eat just a piece of the brownie, even if we eat the whole thing. But if you're anything like me, once I do what I consider blowing it, I give in and eat everything I can get my hands on. This has been a lifelong struggle for me. It's actually very frustrating that I still haven't overcome this. But at the same time, I have gotten much better in a lot of aspects. I don't go as crazy as I used to. Sometimes I'll still eat foods that aren't on my plan, but don't eat massive amounts like I used to in the past. And any progress is progress, and we need to credit ourselves for that. If you worry you won't get your gratitude journal in because you become easily distracted, do it somewhere you can't be distracted. Put it next to your bed so you do it last thing at night or first thing in the morning. If you want to start a personal growth reading habit, then take your book to an area where you won't be tempted to check social media. Hopefully a time when the kids won't be screaming for your attention. When scheduling such a time, figure out the best time with the least interruptions and do it then. Don't do it at dinner time. That's just silly. Go out to your car if you have to. We also need to change some of that horrible self-talk we engage in when we are on the brink of giving up on a goal, like telling ourselves that we don't really care about getting in shape. Of course we do. You are looking for an excuse. Instead, tell yourself that you love your body and all it does for you and how you want it to be the best it can be. If you're trying to start a daily meditation practice and tell yourself that, oh, I did it yesterday, once in a while, it's still good. Remind yourself it isn't just about a habit. It's about being in charge of your life and happiness and the way you show up in the world. We often tell ourselves that we haven't been successful at this particular goal in the past. What makes us think it'll be different this time? Tell yourself that that was all practice and that this time it's for real. Take some time to write down all the excuses you will likely come up with to sabotage your own goals and come up with a way to combat them. Think of every possible scenario. It's the best way to save ourselves from ourselves. Good luck. It is Friday. Yay! Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take some time to refresh and celebrate the progress you've made so far. Be safe in what you do. And, of course, be badass, as I know you can be. I'm here cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit Hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Get off the excuse caboose.